I'm Sharon Bill. Welcome to my Music Theory Tuition series where I work with you step by step through the ABRSM Discovering Music Theory grades. I'll work through every single exercise and explain everything you need to know. You can access information about the books I have available to help you on my website. Go to sharonbill.com. For advert-free and longer lessons, you can become a patron at patreon.com/SharonBill. If you can give me a like, that would be super, and please do subscribe to my channel to stay updated. You can support this channel by buying me a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/SharonBill. Moving on to page 37 of the Grade 5 Discovering Music Theory workbook, we get a closer look at chromatic intervals. But before we dive into these exercises, let's just look back at what we've covered so far in the previous grade. You can find this in your Grade 4 workbook, or you can refer to my PDF information sheet, where we can see that if you go to my website, you can download this for free. This is the Grade 5 PDF, where we can see that major intervals made smaller become minor. Major intervals that are made bigger by a semitone are augmented. Minor intervals that are increased by a semitone become major. Minor intervals that are made smaller or diminished by a semitone are called diminished. And perfect intervals, which are fourths, fifths and octaves, if they're made bigger, if you think about it, we augment it, we make it bigger. And if we make it smaller by a semitone, we diminish it, it's diminished. And of course, that is also on the previous page in a very brief format here. So we can see how the intervals adjusted by a semitone can be made to be called by these different names. So do just bear that in mind, because we're going to be using that information. And we're going to look at some chromatic intervals, keeping C as our tonic, as our first note. And we know that C major should have no sharps or flats, and so that makes our job easy. And so here we can see C to E double flat. So that's a 1, 2, 3. It's a third of some sort. And let's just work it backwards. So we have C to E as a major interval, because we know that there should be no sharps or flats of any sort in the major interval. And then C to E flat has been made smaller. Major means greater, minor means smaller. So we've gone from greater to smaller, major to minor. But then we've had a double flat, so we've made it smaller again. We've diminished the interval even further, and so that's a diminished third. Bear in mind that C to E double flat, that is not the same as describing C to D, because C to D would be written on the page differently. It's note E that we are replacing with these flat signs. And so that does make a huge difference in the way we describe it, which is why always get your interval number first, so that you don't then go off on the wrong track and start naming the enharmonic interval instead. And so here we have a C to E again, and we know that C to E is major, but in this instance we've raised it, so we've gone from C to E, which is major, and then we've made it bigger, we've augmented it, so we've gone from major to augmented. This is E sharp. It's not the same as F, because C to F is a fourth of some sort. This is replacing note E, it's representing note E on the stave. It's an augmented third, and that is a major interval that has been raised by a semitone. C to E is major, and then we've raised it by a semitone. So an augmented third is a major third which has been raised by a semitone, made greater. So let's have a look now at C to A double flat. Let's think about what's going on here. So C to A, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's a sixth of some sort. And so C to A is major, that's the greater. and then A flat is minor, and then the double flat makes it smaller by a semitone again. It's a double flat. It's a minor interval that's been made smaller by a semitone. And so this is a diminished sixth. And that is a minor interval that has been lowered by a semitone. The A flat is the minor, the double flat lowers it again and makes it diminished. Let's have a look at this one. So again, we've got C to A something, which is going to be a sixth of some sort. However, here we know that C to A is major, and then we've made it greater. And so we've augmented that interval, and so this is an augmented sixth. That's a major interval, a major sixth that's been raised by a semitone. C to A is major, and then the sharp raises it by a semitone. Let's continue. If you feel confident, perhaps you can now try these on your own. So maybe try this last few on your own. If you feel that you can't, doesn't matter if you go wrong, you can always just erase it out if you work with pencil, and then you will learn by your mistakes. So I'm hoping that you've had a go of these. Let's now look at these together. We have C to B sharp. So first of all, it's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7th of some sort. Now C to B is major, because we know that C major has no sharps or flats. And then we've raised that interval by a semitone. We've made it greater, so we've gone from major to augmented. So we've gone from a major seventh and we've raised it by a semitone. So an augmented seventh is a major seventh that has been raised by a semitone. And that's what that sharp is doing. It's raising the major interval by a semitone. Let's have a look at this next one. So we have C to C, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Of course, it's an octave. We know that octaves are perfect. However, here we can see there's our perfect octave. However, the C flat lowers at the interval by a semitone. And so we've diminished that perfect interval. We don't have major or minor in octaves. We go from perfect to diminished. And so this is a diminished octave. Which is a perfect octave that has been lowered by a semitone. And then finally we go the other way. We have perfect octave here, C to C, and it's been raised. And so the sharp sign augments the interval. So we go from perfect to augmented. Remember, no major or minor in octaves, fourth or fifth. We go straight from perfect to octave. And so it's perfect to augmented octave. And so this is an augmented octave, which is a perfect octave that has been raised by a semitone. And that's that exercise completed. I hope this is helpful to your studies. Please do like and subscribe to stay updated. If you'd like to support this channel, you can buy me a coffee, and for advert-free lessons you can become a patron. Do visit my website where you'll find many resources available to help you. Visit sharonbill.com. Thanks for watching. Bye.